Okay, hi Morgan. So I wanted to just quickly send you the video so you can see what I wanted to show you. So in the past, when I've done units like you're doing units, I build out what the students work on. So like I'm gonna just try to like show you as simply as I can. So I make like a little booklet like this. And so this is the first page of the booklet. So this lists the standards and then it tells them like what we're specifically going to work on through the text. And then as the kids go through the pages, like the context clues, sentences are already there with the vocabulary. And then it tells them like how they need to connect in setting. And then they have to draw or color a picture that kind of matches. And so it goes along like that. And if you want to see what it looks like this way, so that it would look like things like this. Oops, sorry. So that they can take direct evidence from the text, they can use what this says, but then they go through, and then this can then be a self-paced kind of thing, or it could be something that that you work on together, or some kids do it in a group, or you can rotate around as kids are working. And then you can do it for all kinds of standards. So like here's one from a third grade book. It was called Stink and the Midnight Zombie. It cost like $1. So here was the idea for how it looks for word choice. Here's how it looked for point of view, what Stink's point of view, what's your point of view. And then the second page, the other two standards are on the next page here. Like describe what's happening in the illustration, because in third grade they have to talk about like illustrations. And then down here, this was a short answer response to text. And then every chapter has the same setup so that kids can become like pretty well versed in like finishing up what they need to do. And then they can start to become more and more independent with the standard as they continue on. So that is a couple of ideas that I thought you might like. There's also like creative ways to do it, which I know that you already know about, but like step books like this, so that like this part's about Matilda's life. And so this is a situation too that could be independent, where it tells them read to page 21 and then stop and then answer this question, then read to the next page. And this booklet is all about just using textual evidence to give your answers from. And then of course, as these pages get bigger, there's more and more room to write and more things that the kids are expected to do within this space. It could be very text specific too, where this book is all about main idea and details, but it was a nonfiction text. This was a level 3 nonfiction reader, so that you can see like what is happening in here, like what's the main idea, where the key details. It tells them to read these pages and do this work. And again, this is something I can model for the first time, and then as the pages continue, they look very similar, and they also match what they see in the text. So in the text, the words to know look like that in the box, so they're easy to find. And then it has just some other like detailed like things that are inside of it. And sometimes it'll look like that to kind of make a chart to go along to use the text features that are in there, and then the different facts and different pieces. So, but every time they're working on main idea and detail to kind of go through it. And then the same thing, I don't know if you guys have read the book Weasel, it's a pretty good one. But again, if you list the standards out on the front and then you open it up, and then the work is on the inside for the kids as they kind of go. So all that work that you've done that you're like worried about, oh, is the teacher going to use the vocab? Are they going to use the teaching points? They can actually be right in the kids' work, written in a kid-friendly way. And then you can decide how the standards get done, like how I put them at the front, or I do a day on teaching and this is what we're going to do. If you want to get super jazzy, you can model your questions. This takes the longest amount of time, but you can model your questions after like sample MCAS questions that looks like this. So this journal was answering questions referring to the text for answers, determine central message, how it's conveyed through key details, describe characters, and explains how the text illustration is conveyed in the story. So if you look, the first one right here is like, how does the character feel? And then you have to provide like the details from the text to go with it. So it's a multiple choice followed by like, what's your evidence? Then over here, it looks like they look on MCAS. It gives a question A, and then it gives a part B. So up here, circle one answer, but down here, check off 2 pieces of text that support the answer that you chose. For this one, because it works well with this text, the chapters aren't named. They title the chapter for the central message, and then they give 2 details from the text to prove why that would be the best title for the chapter. And then it goes through this way for each chapter at first, and then it starts doubling up. It'll do 2 and 3 chapters at a time, so that the kids' stamina for the increased reading kind of goes along with it, and as they get more proficient as the standard continues along. And then what I would do is collect these every day, and then write the kids' notes and grade it, not necessarily like an A, B, C, or D, but kind of grade through and then talk to the kids like, is this MS? Is this meeting the standard, or do I need to be adding more details in here in order to make this make sense? Does the information that I picked match? So then each day when they come in and it's time for them to continue reading, I pass them their book back, their journal back, and then they see my notes so they know how to improve the next day. Even if it's not the group that I'm working with or I don't get a chance to talk with them, they've got it here. And this is also how I can determine my strategy groups. When they're in the next day, then I can say, okay, these are the kiddos that I'm going to work with for chapters 4 and 5, and then I pull them. So I just wanted to show you too that there is a way that the resources that you are creating for the teacher does allow the teacher to be a little bit more creative in the way that he or she delivers instruction. But I know that you're feeling like stressed about that kind of piece. So something like this is a great model. It's great for the kids because they have it right in front of them, and it's great for you when you give to the teachers and you show them, hey, this is how it goes. And then eventually you work on helping them build out. So I hope this is helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.